What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Counselor Chris, and we're here with another webcast, podcast, whatever you want to call it. Today's topic is hard shell, soft heart, Black men, love, and the weight of worthiness. And I want to welcome all my listeners who have been listening. Thank you for those if this is your first time tuning in. But this week, I definitely want to focus on Black men and love and the weight of feeling worthy of love and where all of that came from. I have a special guest on with me today. I'm going to let him introduce himself because I want you guys to kind of get a feel for his background because not only is he my guest speaking on behalf of Black men, he is also a clinician. So I'm going to hand the mic over to you so you can give us a little background about yourself.
Okay. So you just put me on the spot like that, right? Okay. My name's Harry Hubbard. I am going through the process of getting my license to become a counselor. I just finished up with school and we got to take those exams. Yay. So excited. But I am a black man, been one my whole life. So I feel like I feel like I can shed some light on any kind of questions you have as far as that aspect of it, being a black man in this field of counseling.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you have been a Black man all your life and not just identified as a Black man on today. But also great to hear because I feel like in this day and age, most people do not attend, or I'm not going to say most people, I'm going to say the African American community, we have been the slowest community to get into mental health. And most of that is because of representation. And although we have lots of Black women now who have started their own practices and starting to do very culturally motivated practices, we still need more Black male representation. So, glad to hear about your journey. Today's
Mhm.
topic, though, hard shell, soft heart, Black men, love, and the weight of worthiness. Tell me why
All
you
right.
think this topic is an important one for you personally, but also one for you professionally as a clinician.
Well, it's just like you said in our community, especially being a man in the African American community. Growing up, we don't really speak about a lot about our emotions, a lot about our feelings. We kind of hold a lot of things in because you consider it like weak, or just our elders have been showing us that this is something that we can do to be able to speak about our emotions and feelings. So
Hmm.
that was one of the things that made me want to get into the field. And as I spoke to people about it, they were excited for just not just being a man doing it, just a African American male doing it, because there's not really that many that can speak from that culture. So that intrigued me a lot to do that. So that's kind of like how I got. Well, that would kind of spark my interest in really doing that.
Okay. All right. Paving the way to kind of reshape those views and have
Yeah, those old stigmas. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So you and I, talk here and there, and
Hmm.
you, I've shared with you before. I like to go to cigar lounges and smoke cigars. Um,
Absolutely.
back in the day, it used to just be my excuse to go meet men, but now I actually enjoy going to smoke cigars. But
Yeah.
the great thing I love, and I learned this. This is crazy. So I learned this. I can't remember the people. Ooh, as a clinician, I should never forget these folks. But the people that came up with Love and Logic,
Okay.
and one of the I guess the contributors to the Love and Logic process said that if you put something in a man's hand, he'll talk. Which is why when men want
Mm.
to talk to their sons about something, they go work on the car or
Yeah.
they go fishing or so as long as their hands are busy, their brains are busy, and so they're talking. But
Hmm.
as soon as you take something out of their hand, it's like, all right, well, their talk is over. So she was saying that one of the things that she used to do is start folding clothes with her husband or whatever and start making him like talk. And so
Yeah.
I see that same concept when men go smoke cigars. Like Now, I'm moving my hands, I'm cutting, I'm lighting, I'm
Hmm.
smoking, and now the conversations are flowing. So, this topic today came from some conversations I've had sitting in cigar lounges and talking about the difference between how women, and we're speaking specifically in the Black community right now, feel
Okay.
like they deserve love, while men are taught, or maybe not even taught, just kind of it's thrown upon them that they have to earn love. And so,
Uh,
because of that, men are taught or have learned not to even express their emotional needs until they feel that they have deserved the space and the right to express emotional needs. Talk to me about how you feel like this statement is relevant or true, or what has been your experience with that?
yeah, that's a pretty deep statement. We speaking from just my experience, we as men we're normally taught to provide. We're normally taught to keep pushing. We're normally taught to be the disciplinarian. So it's not like a lot of emotions involved in it. So like that's just the direction that we had to go. But it's tough once you I think mine switched when I had daughters because daughters and then like the work schedule, I had them a lot in the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
And so just like hearing them and understanding where they're coming from
Mm-hmm.
and trying to connect with them, it made me rethink. Sorry, my bad. It made me rethink my stance on all of that. It can be challenging, but it's just like if you talk from like an old fashioned way, based on my age group,
Mm-hmm.
we still kind of in that old fashioned type mindset. The newer generations, they have a different way, a different
Mm-hmm.
approach for it. But just like the '80s babies into like early '90s, they still have like an old school method, and also who you were raised around. Like if you were raised around your grandparents, you were raised around your like elders.
Yeah.
It's still kind of that kind of way of thinking. So it can be tricky once you're trying to alter how you thinking and trying to alter like speaking about emotions because a lot of us in my age graphic we didn't really deal with our emotions like that. Like we figured it out. Like you just had to kind of you go if yeah, like a lot of men we cry in the dark or we cry by ourselves, and you come back and like the next day because everybody's looking to you to lead. So it's kind of that one's kind of interesting to get through. But that's a good point. Even the thing when we're teaching and while we having things in our hand, that's normally how that works. So that's kind of accurate.
Yeah, yeah. And I hope I'm quoting the right people, man. I've been in this field for so long, all of my information. But the point that you made about this old school way of thinking, that is a great segue into the next question I was going to ask. And so the question is, where did the message of needing to earn love come from? Like, is it from family? Do you think it's from religion and like the church? Is it media? Is it the culture? Like, where do you think that came from? That men need to earn love?
I think that was just the older generation, like topic. I mean, not topic. Just an older way of teaching.
Hmm.
Earn love in a sense of which can you provide for the family? Can you provide stability? Could you provide food? Could you provide structure?
Hmm.
And then off of that, that's kind of how we get our love coming back to us in that sense. And a lot of times we're not taught what's how am I trying to say this? We're not taught like what to look for in love in a woman. We're just like we we're here to build, we're here to provide structure and stability,
Hmm.
and then that's us displaying our love. So when we have to start doing words, a good percentage of us don't necessarily know how to uh explain those things. So we run into like that's when it goes back to the old fashioned way of thinking that I'm showing you my love by providing all this stuff for you. So which is like a caveman way of thinking, but a lot of times that's the message that we were taught growing up is that you have to make sure your family's okay. You have to be the rock, and you can't show weakness. Sounds kind of barbaric, but that's kind of how it was relayed to us. Well, for sure for me.
Yeah. So it's like you have to buy love. You have to purchase love. It comes with a price, in a sense.
It's I don't I wouldn't say buy or show. I think that the way it was shown to me was that if you provide stability and everything, then the love you get from the woman that you're with, they'll be more submissive, and then then everything kind of works its way out, as
Mhm.
opposed to you're not providing that stability and comfort, then they have to go out there and do it themselves, and then it's another then it causes other issues.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think the love will eventually come, but it's just kind of it's kind of a looking at it and like going back over that mindset is kind of it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because you should know what love looks like and you should know how to handle it. But a lot of times we didn't know what love looks like, either from um father just thinking the way that we used to think,
Hmm.
or just not being there, or just having like broken methods of communication. Like we sometimes we don't see healthy communication in relationships.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like it's kind of dicey.
So I will say, as a therapist and dealing with single black men in therapy, Generation X pretty much got it together. And I'm going to say older Generation X
Hmm.
and maybe some older millennials got it together. But some of the younger millennials have a hard time um, dealing with financially stable women in the dating.
Hmm.
And I think, just like you said, that old way of thinking for those of us that are the millennial group, the Gen X group, were taught that providing means financial. So, one
Yeah.
of the things that I try to challenge a lot of young men in therapy with is if financial is not necessarily something that she needs, how else can you be a provider? Are you only worthy of providing something for someone based off of your pocket and based off of what she needs? Or are there other
Yeah.
ways that you know how to provide? And I think that a lot of men don't get permission from even other men to say, hey, it's okay that you don't provide X, Y, and Z because she got X, Y, and Z provided. You can be security. You can be safety. You can be peace. You can be
Hmm.
consistency. You can be, um, emotionally there for this person. Like, what kinds of conversations do you think need to be had about being a provider and not focusing so much on the financial aspect? We ain't saying that you ain't got to have money, but I'm
Yeah.
saying if I'm already stable and if I already provide for myself, because it's called human survival, it's
Hmm.
called being an adult and taking care of your daily needs if you are a single person. Um,
Hmm.
if I'm already doing those things, what other ways can someone learn if they need to be able to shift and pivot and say, okay, well, let me see if I can provide in this way? What kind of conversations need to be had?
I think that initially the first conversation needs to be are you secure with yourself?
Mm,
So if you're not secure with yourself, you meeting another so if this woman we're speaking about, let's just use you for example. You wear a lot of hats. So you have a lot of alpha in you. Now if another alpha male meets another alpha woman, um, are they secure enough in themselves to be like, okay, let me figure out what's her needs? Because clearly she doesn't need money. Clearly she doesn't need some of the things that we look for as like providers. Like
mm-hmm,
what other options does this woman need? I use my cousin for example. My cousin got married. and they have two kids. He's a stay-at-home husband, and he found a way to make money by not working, but he does content
Mm-hmm.
with his daughters.
Mm-hmm.
But when I asked him about the dynamic, he said we looked at it. Who which one of us is projected to have a better career? He was like, my wife was. And then we had a long conversation. And this was the best plan for us and my family. And he was like, I was secure and I'm fine. We communicate, we talk about things, and we work through stuff. But it's just mainly about communication, understanding who you are as a person. If you're secure with yourself, then um, you being with someone who doesn't necessarily need the, like the quote unquote things that most men would say they bring to a household or to
Mm-hmm.
like to a relationship.
Right.
If you just secure, so I would just say you have to be secure with yourself and know who you are as a person, and then you have to communicate because there may be certain needs that you need, and she's not equipped to handle that. But it's like a communication thing. So secure, communicate, and get a game plan together on like what's the best avenue for us moving forward.
Mm. Yeah, and see, just from you talking about a man deciding to be a stay-at-home father, I'm
Mhm.
sure a bunch of male listeners cringed just then. Right?
Right.
I think it's because of the culture, right? And the things that
Mhm.
we're taught that, oh, you're less than, and you're not. Like, it's about strengths. If we're together and you're better at folding towels than I am, please, by all means, fold these towels. Let me go in
Definitely.
here and make this gumbo because you're not good at making gumbo, but I am, right? Um,
Exactly.
if you are the better decorator, let me sit down somewhere because I'm finna go look on, Pinterest and see what go together because that's the only way I know how to really decorate, right? So
Yeah.
it's like whoever is stronger in that certain area, and that does not come with gender because at the end of the day, if you're living
Hmm.
alone, you got to do all those things anyway. It does not make me a masculine woman because I go take out the trash or I know how to tell the people at the auto mechanic shop what kind of filter I need in my car. However, if my man is better at doing those things, then absolutely he should do those things. And so I think that that's something that a lot more men would have to also start being a little bit more open minded to based on balance and not based on gender in a sense.
That makes sense. It's just being secure in yourself. There's a lot of guys out here who are like they're not really they have a lot of insecurities, and those insecurities they kind of project out in different ways.
Yeah.
So it's like getting yourself under control and
Mm-hmm.
getting and understanding yourself, like doing like an inventory on yourself,
Yeah.
grounding yourself. You have to be you need time alone. Now that's one thing we as men do need. We need a sort time alone to be with our thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And or even just fellowship with other guys. It's just it's just that kind of calms us and keep us, kind of grounded and together. But you definitely need to be you definitely need to understand self. That's really, really important. You can't lead nobody if you can't lead yourself.
And at the end of the day, work is work. And there's different currency for different work. There's some
Yep.
work that bring in the currency of money, and
Yep.
there's some work that brings in the currency of peace. And so I know it's a lot of women out there finna quote Bible scripture, man, it don't work, don't eat. But guess what? If you was a stay at home dad, that man worked all day long. He done cleaned up the
Yeah.
house. He done, cooked probably and did all the meal prepping. You probably didn't have to get up and do nothing that morning because he already had your smoothie ready and your coffee and all your stuff that you're getting ready to do for
Hmm.
that day. The kids got their lunches packed. He probably on the field trip. That's work. Just because the
Exactly.
currency is not money, it's still currency. But again, it takes two people who are secure with themselves and who decide that I don't want the outside culture, the outside opinions, the outside norms to dictate what we decide is
Exactly.
good for us.
Exactly. It's the overall goal. What are we trying to accomplish here?
Exactly. So let's pivot
So
back to love as a currency. Is it earned or is it deserved? I think there's a lot of pressure around providing. We've been talking about. protecting, performing, and how it shapes self worth when we're talking about Black men.
Yeah.
Um, so, is love viewed as a reward for performance instead of it being my right because I'm human, because I'm here, I should be loved? Or is it I gotta perform, I gotta do all these things just to earn my love? Um, how have you struggled with this belief personally when it comes to do I deserve it just because I'm human? Or is it because I feel like I'm supposed to earn it because that's what I've seen done?
I think that I think that you said earn or deserve.
Yeah.
I think that it's deserve. You love your parents because they brought you into this world, so that's something that they deserve for
Mhm.
that and everything that they did to get you to where you are.
Mhm.
I think it's earned for anybody else because there's just a lot of is you showing up every day and being consistent in someone's life. I think over time that's earned. Let's say you get in a relationship with somebody and they have a kid. This kid don't know you. You like their parent. Over time, the kid is gonna learn that they can trust you, and then you have their love. But it has to be earned. It's not monetary. It's not. It's not anything like that. It's just showing up and being aware of what's going on with them and looking out for them. That. I think those parts of love. So uh, I would say that like the parent part. I think what I said earned,
Mhm.
and just through life, everything else is like you. It's just you being consistent, and then that's gonna come your way. Because to me, that's the only way to be. Like you have to be consistent, and you have to be honest, and you have to be true to who you are.
Absolutely. And I don't even think, and not to take away from
Mhm.
this being about Black men, I think there's a lot of humans uh,
Yes,
that,
I think that generation. I mean, I think that's like overall all
yeah,
races.
that feel after we get a certain age that we have to earn love in a sense. I will
Yeah.
say that a particular person I won't, air out today, in my life that was a family member related to me, blood.
Hmm.
That if I wanted this person to come visit me, I would have to pay for that person to come and visit me. If I
Gotcha.
wanted this person to attend something that was special for me, I would have to make a way for this particular person to attend this thing that was special to me. And so
Hmm.
this particular person, because of their influence in my life, taught me that if I want someone to love me, then I have to do something to earn it, to deserve it. It
Got it.
took a minute for me to say, oh, well, wait a minute. What if this person is wrong? What if I've been going about this the wrong way? And that maybe this person doesn't deserve the energy that I'm putting out there. So I think
Hmm.
a lot of what we are talking about today also is about the simple fact that we as a community need to heal our complex traumas, especially
Yeah.
as it deals with our parenting, our family systems, and a lot of the things that we kept in our household because we were told what happens in this household stays in this household type of
Yeah.
organic. And then what we did was because we didn't talk about it with other people, nobody told us that stuff was dysfunctional. I was trying to make sure I edited myself. That stuff was dysfunctional as all get out, right? And so
Yeah.
I think that's normal. And now I'm carrying this on through generation to generation because I'm not talking about it with anybody, especially not with a therapist.
Mhm.
Which gonna be a good segue now. Let's talk about the therapist mask, the logic
Okay.
versus the feeling. Many of us in the community now, we are becoming therapists. We are opening up practices. We are drawing our people in, and we are healing generational trauma that has happened throughout history in the Black culture.
Hmm.
However, you and I had this conversation. As
Hmm.
therapists, do you think we hide behind logic? Do you feel like we detach emotionally? We know better logically, but do you feel like the emotions part of certain things that we just have a hard time showing those feelings now?
I feel that the emotional detachment is real. Um, even going through like the school, 'cause I'm pretty much fresh out of school.
Mhm.
So you have to kind of control that, even like certain things that you hear, certain situations that happen. You have to block your morals
Mhm.
because you can't put your push your morals on somebody else.
Mhm.
So you kind of taught to not have yeah, you kind of got taught to like detach from your emotions. Me personally, I'm noticing that about myself too. It, it's really easy for me to detach emotion from situations and just kind of listen to the facts and remove the emotions, which is
Yes.
a lot of times makes the situation clear. But I don't know. I'm not gonna say I don't know. That practice can be kind of it can be a little gray area in that because you're human, so you're gonna have emotions and you're gonna feel things,
That's
and
right.
blocking them, I'm not so sure is that if that's the correct thing. So
Mhm.
um, I've been trying to just to stay balanced as much as I can and only uh take on so many clients and probably because their stress traumas and everything they have it do come to you because a lot of us who do this type of work are impact or pretty much empaths, so we feel a lot of energy and you get a lot of negative energy coming your way. You have to figure out how to navigate through that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting and tough, especially for me like being new to it. That's something that I got to figure out to master because I don't want to lose my human element
Mhm.
of talking to people, but also you have to not you have to not be so emotionally involved in what's happening so you can hear the problem for what for what it really is. Is this like a real problem or just this is this the problem or this is like something stemming off of the main problem?
Yeah.
So that balance can be a little for me it can be like a little tricky,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's my take on that one.
Yes. I would say for me personally, I'm gonna say on the professional side, being a trauma therapist, I have
Mhm.
had to learn how to hold it together because trauma therapy can be very, very hard if you are a very emotional person. Um, you are
Yeah.
you are not gonna make it if you don't learn how to control your emotions. But I will say for me, I think it's a blessing and a curse that I've learned how to be so strong and balanced and logical in those sessions to be able to help that person kind of navigate and assist them to sit in those feelings in order to heal from that trauma. But then in my personal life, you know, I'm that one that's real quick to tell someone that I'm dating. I'm either gonna be your lady or your therapist, but I'm not gonna be both, right? But then whenever we
Right.
gotta talk about some emotions, I'm coaching and and how does that feel? And you need to sit through that. And I'm taking all of the sensitivity and the emotion out of that. So I even found that in my personal life, I've turned it off so much in my professional life that I seem like an emotionless person personally. So that's something that I know for sure I need to work back on learning how to balance between um, being the professional, sitting, with the client, but then interacting with humans outside of work. It's okay to still be sensitive and be human and navigate the world through my emotions.
Mhm.
Do you think that that's hard being a therapist, a man, and a black man to be able to balance that?
Alice, which part? The emotional part?
Like outside of work, being able to feel secure enough to say, this is a space where I need to sit in these emotions. This is a space where I need to express this emotion. This is a space where my emotion is going to be received healthily.
I think so. Just because of being vulnerable with whoever it is, or just taking their time away because outside of doing therapy, your day
Mhm.
to day life, because I also have another job, and then you're still raising your kids, and like you still have so many other things that you have to like take care of, and then you still handling problems that are not necessarily your problems, but it's the family problems, and they come to you for answers.
Yeah.
And so it's tough. It's just and also not even being taught this. Like this is just it's like a raw passion. So I'm not necessarily like I don't have any. I don't have a lot of time in it, so a lot of things I don't necessarily know
Mm-hmm.
how to communicate it all the way. It's just making sure that you're saying the right thing, or making sure that you're being attentive to the right part, or
Yeah.
even giving them the right resources.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a lot, but I feel like if this is what you put on earth to do, a lot of things will come to you. Like it'll come to you as a gift. Like anybody who plays sports or anyone who can just go out and do like a 2 hour speech. It's like you're gifted with certain things that you put on this earth to do. So
Right.
this is a gift. So for me, it's like I work like 7 to 6 every day, except for the weekend. When I start talking to clients, I'm dead tired. But once I start, it's a different kind of energy that come out because once you have a moment where somebody shifts their perspective on life
Mm-hmm.
into like a positive way, it's just like an adrenaline shot. And it's
Yeah.
I'm wired, I'm up. I better talk to more people.
Yeah. I
So um it's like, and then again that kind of goes back to the balance. Uh we as I I kind of feel like as a man, the fact that that I ain't gonna say we, I think out of logic a lot. I do have to watch the emotional part, but a lot of it I can deal with because I normally don't lead with emotion anyway.
mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, I find out ways to work for me, but I do have those days, and we talked about this too, when like I just feel drained, like I can't, I don't want to talk to nobody.
Yeah.
So it's just balance. That's it. Just you got to find your balance, and you have to understand if this is your purpose, because this type of work, what I'm learning is it's rewarding if this is your purpose.
Yeah.
If it's not your purpose, then it's gonna be hard on you because you're gonna want to be selfish and not put too much effort and energy into things that you start treating people like a dollar. And that's not what the experience is supposed to be. It's supposed to help them and move them on with life and not just keep them in one area, you know?
I got you. Okay. All
I don't know
right.
if I answered the question or not. I feel like I went on a tangent,
Nah,
but
nah,
that came
nah.
out.
Nah, you did. So let's then stay on this path and let's talk about creating safe spaces for Black men. Because
Okay.
apparently, some people in your life have made you feel safe enough to where you don't feel the need to hold back and not show emotions. But
Mhm.
there are still a lot of spaces where Black men are not safe or don't feel safe to express those emotions. I even encourage a lot of my Black male vets that when they are out in public, especially if they have PTSD, always wear something that says I am a vet, t-shirt, hat, something, so that
Mhm.
if you have a moment, prayerfully, the first thing someone is not doing is calling the dang police, right? Someone is
Mhm.
being human and sensitive enough to know that you are possibly triggered by something. It could possibly be your anxiety, and what can we do to help instead of just calling the police? But what does, in your opinion, as a Black man, but also as a therapist, what does an emotionally safe space look like for a Black man?
Um, in my opinion, it's it's in you. Once you feel safe in your own skin, and once you get balance, and once you get like you understand yourself,
Mhm.
you speaking out in a group of people, um, your energy is gonna tell you, is this okay for me to speak about or not?
Okay.
I think it's self-confidence. Once
Okay.
you have the inner self-confidence, and once you get into a crowd, then you're gonna speak because regardless of the crowd that you're in, you can be a crowd of five. One, maybe two people are gonna have a negative side to it. But if you're speaking from confidence and you're speaking facts and you're speaking like from your heart, they'll feel that energy and they'll either walk away, and then that meant that person was supposed to be it, and then that safe zone will be there because you're talking to people who want to listen and receive what you're talking about. So I don't
Mhm.
necessarily think I don't think it's an actual place. I think it's a mindset.
Okay. A mindset. I can see that. Um, I think there are a lot of barriers when it
Hmm.
comes to being vulnerable especially for men, especially for black men. Um, you know, people like to harp on the Latin American community being very machismo about how they
Uh-huh.
want their men, but I think we're the same way. I think we're the same way on our boys, not just our men on our boys. Our women are the same way, on our boys
Oh yeah,
trying
yeah,
to teach them what masculinity is, and you're not being masculine enough. Shaming,
yeah.
young boys that if something hurts them, that they cry. My son, who is 11 years old now, he experienced a trauma when he was 3. He
Hmm.
watched his older brother pass away in front of him. And one of
Hmm.
the things that I did not want to do was hide my grief and make him think that it's not okay to cry when
Yeah.
you lose someone. Like, it is okay. And so one of the things I try to also always say to him, that emotions are not bad, but maybe sometimes choosing to show your emotions in an unhealthy way is what can be bad. So if you love
Yeah.
someone, it's okay to cry.
Hmm.
If you feel anxious, it's okay that it feels uncontrollable, when you feel, very anxious from something that triggered you, right? But
Yeah.
sometimes when we try to withhold those things, then it comes out in an unhealthy manner. So I think that as parents, we have to learn how to teach our boys who are going to be men that emotions are okay. How you express those emotions can go either way.
Hmm.
Um, and then fear of being seen as weak. Like, when did having a human experience become a weak thing? So how do we, you and I, as clinicians, start to create these safe spaces in therapy and in the community, specifically for African American men?
Well, in the in therapy, that's a group thing. I think it's a group thing with whoever is around the child. It
Mm-hmm.
has to be like a community of group, like you say community, but let's just say the household.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody needs to be on the same page, and everybody needs to learn how to communicate. So I think that's a lot of for me growing up. That was a big thing for me growing up was things wasn't communicated, and then we had a lot of generational curses
Yeah,
that were still there, but they weren't talked about. I think you have to talk about those things, and I think that you have to be honest and show your kids that you have humility. Like
yeah,
you can be wrong, you can apologize, yeah, I can talk about it. You can move on. Now, I mean, that's to a certain point. You don't want to do that all the time, but just showing them the human side of everything, and showing them to be kind, showing them to take care of things, to showing them of the importance of like communicating, like importance of emotional intelligence, communicating stuff, listening for answers, and not listening to respond.
yes,
Like things like that. I think that's important because so once the households needs to work on it first, and then it'll spill out into the community because you can't control outside, you can only control inside.
yeah. I
That's what I think. Community thing that's a big one, but it's just in a house, like you just gotta kind of put those values there, so whenever they go outside, they'll do them. But they feel comfortable enough to come back and talk to you about it. Yeah, because my children are really honest, and sometimes I don't want to talk about the topic they
wonder
want to talk
why. I
about.
wonder why with an Aries dad.
Oh man, they're very honest. Like, so with my children, we had this thing called it's open. It's like you won't get in trouble. It's like what's the little trend they got going on right now? We listen, but we
Listen,
don't
but don't
judge.
judge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we kind of were doing that before. So like I just let them talk and tell me things that they probably wouldn't want to tell me because they get in trouble,
yeah,
and that's part of the rules. So it it leaves open that communication. So you don't ever want them. It's it's like finding a fine line of like letting them talk to you about things, but them still respecting you enough to handle what you're telling them they need to handle.
yeah, yeah.
So that's the tough part. And Aries dads are awesome. You gotta protect Aries dads at all costs.
That's another conversation. But no, I agree with you. It has to be everybody on the same page. And I even think if we're talking more about parenting, every child has to be parented differently, right? You might
That
have one
too. That too.
child
Yeah.
you can give the eye, and they understand fully what you didn't say.
Yes. Yes. Yes, Lord. Yes.
You have the other child. You
Oh
gotta
my God.
literally reach inside their chest and snatch their soul out for them to understand that you mean
Exactly.
business, right? And I will say for my son, gentle parenting works, but gentle parenting only works with gentle children, right? So
Yes.
for me, the most I've ever had to do when he was younger, I popped him once on his thigh, and he thought I killed him. Like he just laid out like it hurt his feelings so bad. But now here we are, 11 years. This boy is taller than me. He's a second degree black belt. But in my mind, I know he ain't gonna never get nuck or buck at me because I've given him that discipline to let him know, hey, we don't play those games. Mommy is low key crazy.
Yeah.
However, his dad also gentle parents. He gonna lecture him. He gonna get him together, as a man, but he's not gonna be one of those macho dudes, say it with your chest, do 12 push-ups type of guy. So
Yeah.
because he's being gently parented by two parents, I cannot connect myself with somebody that's gonna have him in here doing push-ups and what's the wall squats and stuff, where you
Yeah. I see.
stand
Yeah.
up, punch him in the
Yep.
chest, that kind of stuff. Like I can't connect myself with someone who would parent in that way because that's not how I parent him. Because I am also trying to teach him the balance of it's okay to have an emotion, it's okay to be human. Your
Mhm.
masculinity is not measured by the fact that you lost someone and you cried. Oh man up, you don't cry, you be strong, X, Y, and Z. All of us
Yeah.
strong people got high blood pressure now, okay? So no, we don't want you to be strong. We want you to be human and we want you to express yourself.
Yeah. She said everybody got high blood pressure.
We all got high blood pressure for being the strong one in the family.
Right.
It's about the words that we say. So let's go to real quick um, affirmations,
Mhm.
affirming that you deserve love. It doesn't have to be earned.
Yeah.
Um, Helping someone to personally affirm this for themselves, um, worthiness, healing, all those things. What does it look like to give and receive love freely, knowing that I deserve it and not necessarily have to earn it? How would you describe that to a young man sitting in your practice who has never experienced love freely, but has always had to do something to earn it?
Yeah. That's a tough one. Mm, that's a tough one. Uh, I would say, I would say if they have a love for a particular thing, like maybe a sport, music, singing,
Hmm.
or they seen it in a movie or something,
Yeah.
and then I would try to pull out how they felt in that moment. How did that make them feel?
Hmm.
And then off of that, when they say that they don't know or seen it, no, I was like, tell them like you have a representation of that you actually saw or that you're actually doing. So that energy, that good feeling, that emotion that you feel, that's what you wanna have with someone. And if you're not getting that, then you need to reevaluate the situation because you know what pain, you know what hurt, you know what the opposite looks like. So if you're getting those things, it's not love
Yeah.
because you know that's not what it is. I have a client currently who dealt with a lot of childhood traumas,
Hmm.
and he dealt with his mom not pretty much showing him love,
Hmm.
but he has a high love for comedy. Well, he's a comedian, and he has a high love for basketball.
Okay.
So, and then he has a want to with this particular with his girlfriend.
Okay.
So I'm like, so you see the love for things, and you understand how that emotion makes you feel, and then you have someone who's showing it to you. Now we have to see what's the positive part in that. We have to see what's was the love there. So like so you see the love here. So once you have these other thoughts, ideas, or things that are happening off of that,
Mm-hmm.
then we gotta veer away from that and try to work on not having those type of feelings enter our life, or if you understand you're in an emotion, like you gotta catch your emotions. Once you understand you're in an emotion, then the quicker you identify it, the quicker you can get out of it. And
Oops.
then being open and honest about it.
I turned my phone off. My bad.
Okay. I said they just being open and honest about it. So that one's and this one is really tough for um it was tough for me, and I think it's tough for kids in our community
Yeah.
because they don't necessarily know they've done without it for so long that once they see it, either they push it away, they fight it, or they don't know how to take it. So there's a lot of arguing happening because and then if they go to their parents probably didn't see a positive one. I'm just percentage wise. Their parents probably didn't see a positive situation, so they don't necessarily know who to go and talk to about it.
Mhm.
That's why these things are good to have, like having therapy about things, opening up and talking about it, and then it helps you. Is building that like you're building your emotional intelligence within yourself that you can verbalize and explain what's going on internally, so you can get to the problem.
Okay. All right. So, last question. If you could go back and talk to your younger self before you gain this confidence in being able to um, feel and sit with your emotions and feel free to express your emotions in all spaces. And before you got to a space to where you felt that, hey, I deserve love. I don't have to earn it from anybody or any space. And any space that's making me feel that way is not a space for me. Before you got to that space, what would you say to that younger version of yourself who's not quite there yet?
Um, being being Harry Hubbard Jr. is okay. That's is fine. Just be the best version of you. And when I was younger, I was trying to emulate other people because I figured this is how you had to act. My first marriage, I tried to act like I was like kind of like the yes, whatever, like trying to do like this perfect Cosby type role. Before then, growing up, I I didn't really know who I was, so I was trying to like fit in different situations,
Yeah.
as opposed to like running from my thing because I've always been able to feel people's emotions. So I would just say just um sit still and figure out who you are as a person
Okay.
and do your best to try to figure that out because if you're not it goes back to if you're not balanced, if you don't understand yourself, then you don't have that confidence, and that's that's really needed in all ages.
Absolutely. I think that's very important. And that's one of the themes that you've driven a huge takeaway from nothing else. If y'all don't take anything else with you, about that inner self, um, knowing who you are, being confident in who you are. Not only that, the measure of love that you have for yourself that you didn't have to
Mhm.
earn. You realize you just deserve self love, and you start to give yourself that self love. And that same approach should be taken in every space that you are a part of.
Yeah.
So, encouragement to listeners, especially our Black male listeners, um, make sure that you are seeking spaces where you can be and not just have to do. I'm going to say that one more time. Make sure that you are seeking spaces where you can be and not just have to do. All right.
Yes, ma'am. Snap
Um,
my fingers on that one. That was a good one. Like we're in the jazz spot. That was a good one.
I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah. Put
Okay.
on the gilding.
All right. Do you have right now a way where people can like contact you or anything like that? Are you taking clients at this time? Are you working under anybody's license at this time, or is that something that you want to provide for us at a later date?
I can provide it at a later date because currently I need to take another exam to be able to take more clients, but I'm helping out trouble boys, people who can't afford therapy, just to kind of get them in the mindset of like this is okay, to
Hmm.
get them to open up and talk and then move on. So I'm pretty much just doing stuff free,
So some
and keeping
coaching.
for the love.
Yeah, yeah. I feel you. I feel you. Hey, it is
So if you want to reach out, you can reach out to Crystal and she will give you my information.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, I thank everybody who tuned in to listen to us today. You know, this is what it is. We just have conversations. This ain't no formal podcast, no
Yeah,
formal webcast. This is just, some conversations around, mental health, consulting, counseling, coaching, things of that nature, but especially as it deals with the African American culture. Please follow us on YouTube, and follow us on our webpage to get information about things that we're doing in the community. www.dudleyconsulting.net. Look forward to seeing everyone on the next time.